Discover how one heartwarming blind date changed everything for this incredible nurse and CEO. Sarah sat at the diner, her heart racing. This wasn't just any night, it was a blind date that could, in countless ways, change her life. A single mother, worn yet resilient, she constantly worked long hours as a nurse to make ends meet, while dreaming of a better future for her two spirited children. Mark, the man across from her, was the CEO of a tech startup, a stark contrast to her reality. Staring into his eyes, she sensed an unexpected connection, yet the weight of expectations hung heavily in the air. Their conversation started stiff, like two ships passing in the night. But then, a flicker of vulnerability danced in Mark's gaze as he shared snippets of his journey, the lonely nights spent poring over business plans, the overwhelming pressure of success, and the shadows of his past that followed him everywhere. With every word, the polished exterior he wore began to crack, revealing a man driven not just by ambition, but by a yearning to connect on a human level. As they gradually peeled back layers of their lives, Sarah found herself laughing at Mark's self-deprecating humor, feeling a warmth spread through her chest she hadn't known in what felt like forever. She spoke about her children, about the struggles of making it all work as a single mom, and the compassion that fueled her nursing career. Her eyes sparkled with passion when she recounted a woman whose life she touched with the simplest act of kindness, just holding her hand through a tough diagnosis. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the conversation rolled forward, the door swung open, and in walked Sarah's ex-partner. Her heart dropped. The man she thought she had put behind her was here, his presence like a heavy fog creeping into her clarity. Mark's brow furrowed in confusion as Sarah's joy shifted to turmoil. It brought back memories she thought she had buried, the bitter arguments, the broken promises, the impact on her children. Could she really let a man like Mark in when her past could unravel it all? Mark sat quietly, trying to grasp what was unfolding. He felt the tension shift. Questions raced through his mind as he thought of her children. Would he ever be enough? Would Sarah allow him to fill a role he had no idea about? The doubt crept into his heart, a shadow following the light they had shared in their conversation. As the night wound down, they stood at a precipice, gazing into each other's eyes, searching for promises unspoken. Both felt the weight of what could be, but also the fears of who they were. Sarah returned home, worry etched on her face as she stroked her children's hair while they slept. Mark stared out at the city skyline, loneliness creeping back in, wrapped in dreams they both dared to imagine. Would they find a way past their lingering burdens to build something beautiful together? A connection was already forming, but could it withstand the shadows of their pasts? Uncertainty loomed like a softly whispering wind, leaving both souls yearning for answers, hoping love could bridge their worlds. Sarah awoke the next morning with a heaviness in her heart. The sun poured through the window, flooding the room with a golden glow, but the light couldn't chase away the shadows of the previous night. She got out of bed quietly, careful not to wake her children. Their small forms nestled together brought her a moment of solace, a reminder of the joy she held dear. With coffee brewing in the kitchen, she sat down and stared at her phone. There was a message from Mark, just a simple good morning. I hope today treats you well. A smile flickered on her lips as she read it, but uncertainty quickly crept back in. How could she let someone new into her life when her past was still such a formidable presence? After a moment's pause, she typed back, "Good morning. Thank you, I hope you have a great day too." The brief exchange filled her with warmth, but she felt a weight settle on her shoulders again. She couldn't shake the fear that Mark might see her children and her ex-partner as obstacles, mighty walls that would keep them apart. Later that afternoon, she found herself at the park with the kids. They were laughing, running around the playground, genuine in their joy, unaware of the inner turmoil their mother faced. Sarah watched them, her heart swelling with love and pride, but also with apprehension. She wanted more for them, someone stable, a father figure. But could Mark step into that role? At the same time, Mark sat in his high-rise office overlooking the city. The skyline brought him peace, yet his thoughts were tangled up in Sarah. She had been different, a breath of fresh air, sparking something within him he hadn't felt in years. But the shadow of her past still loomed large. Would she ever allow him to be part of her future? He glanced at the framed photo on his desk, a reminder of his own broken relationships and the struggles he had endured. The fear of reconnecting with someone, of trusting again, was overwhelming. The more he thought about Sarah and her kids, the more his heart raced. He wanted to know more about her life, yet he feared what that path might reveal. Their routines intertwined as Sarah and Mark held their respective lives in suspenseful balance. Moments passed, and days turned into a week. Texts became frequent, turning once casual conversation into something deeper. She learned about his love for hiking and the thrill he found in tech innovations. He found out about her dream of opening a children's clinic and how she often felt stretched too thin. But just as quickly as their bond was strengthened, doubts returned. One night, Mark called Sarah, his voice slightly shaky. "I've been thinking about us. I want to know if you see a possibility for something more." There was a pause. Sarah pressed her lips together as a chill coursed through her. Did she dare hope for more? Did she dare risk their connection, inviting her past along for the ride? "Mark," she began, her mind racing. Just then, the sound of a loud crash broke her concentration. She turned to find her daughter, Lily, sitting at the base of the stairs, tears streaming down her cheeks. Her heart sank. "Mommy!" Lily sobbed, reaching out for her. Sarah's mind whirled, she felt pulled in different directions. Here was the tangible reality of her life, demanding her attention, while Mark awaited answers that could change everything. "Lily, are you okay?" Sarah's arms engulfed her daughter, feeling the warmth and fragility of the moment. On the other end of the phone, Mark held his breath, sensing the break in their conversation. What did her response mean for them? The weight of the world sat squarely on Sarah's shoulders as she stared at her daughter. Would she choose the familiar safety of her past or step forward into the unknown with a man who made her feel alive again? As her daughter wrapped her small arms around her, Sarah's heart raced. But she had to face her next move, the moment that might change everything. Would she be ready to embrace both the light and the shadows? The question hung in the air, heavy with possibility. How far could she stretch before breaking? And what might happen when she finally revealed her whole truth to Mark? Lily clung to Sarah, her small body shaking with tears that seemed to come from somewhere deeper than the fall. The warmth of her daughter's desperation pierced through Sarah's lingering uncertainty. This was the reality she had fought to create, to protect. She knelt down, brushing Lily's hair away from her tear-streaked face. "What happened, sweetheart?" Sarah's voice was soft, filled with concern, the urgency of the moment pulling her focus from Mark and their fragile connection. "I was trying to get my book from the top shelf, and it fell, and then I fell too," Lily explained between sobs, her eyes wide with a mix of pain and embarrassment. With a heavy sigh, Sarah scooped her daughter into her arms, feeling the tight knot in her own stomach loosen just a bit. "Oh, baby, it's okay. You're okay," she whispered. The weight of the moment felt like a reminder of why she had to be strong. As she held Lily close, her thoughts drifted back to Mark. Did he care about the past that weighed her down? Or the fragile life she built with her children? There were so many variables in this equation, and the pressure to answer Mark's question left her yearning for an easy solution. Lily's crying slowed, the gentle rhythm of Sarah's heartbeat calming her like a lullaby. "Can we read a story?" Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper now, as she rubbed her eyes. "Of course, my love. Let us pick one." Sarah glanced toward the living room, where a pile of books lay scattered across the coffee table. She wanted nothing more than to be lost in a story with her daughter, to forget the complications and what-ifs of her adult life. As they settled on the couch, Sarah tucked a blanket around them both, feeling a mixture of love and longing. The pages turned as she narrated the whimsical adventures of a brave little rabbit. The words flowed, but her mind kept flickering back to Mark's earnest voice, reopening the door she kept tightly shut against new possibilities. An hour later, Lily dozed off, her slow, steady breaths calming Sarah's racing thoughts. As the afternoon light faded outside, Sarah's phone buzzed again, breaking the serene silence. It was Mark, a simple message, "Hey, just checking in. Hope everything's okay." His timing felt both sweet and suffocating. The duality of wanting to respond and fearing the consequences filled her with unease. She hesitated, her fingers hovering over the keys. Would she say something light and casual, fearing the vulnerability that deeper feelings could expose? Taking a deep breath, she replied, "Lily had a little accident, but she's okay now. Thank you for checking in." The minutes ticked by as she waited for his reply. Did he even understand how much his support meant to her? She couldn't afford to get her hopes up. Mark responded almost immediately, "I'm glad to hear that. If you need anything, I'm here. Anytime. Just let me know." A warmth spread through her, wrapping itself around the uncertainty she felt. Could the man on the other end truly understand the weight she carried? Every word carried the possibility of a new beginning, yet also threatened to churn up the past she felt so protective of. Then, in a moment of boldness, she typed, "Thank you. You've been a really supportive friend through everything. I appreciate it more than you know." But just as she hit send, a soft voice interrupted. "Mommy?" Lily was stirring, her face still drowsy from sleep. "Yes, sweetheart." Sarah turned her attention back, her heart swelling with a mix of love and concern. "Can we go to the park tomorrow?" "I want to see the swings," Lily said, rubbing her eyes. "Of course, we can do that," Sarah answered, envisioning a sunny day filled with laughter and freedom. A flicker of hope ignited within her. Perhaps tomorrow would be the day she fully faced her fears and opened up to Mark, beginning the journey of exploration both in herself and her potential relationship. Would she take that next step? Could she finally bridge the reality of her world with the possibilities that lay ahead? As she tucked Lily back into the blanket, Sarah felt the familiar flutter of hope mixed with anxiety. What awaited her on that new path? And would it be clearer once she visited the park, where the laughter of children could drown out the whispers of her doubts? The sun rose bright the next morning, spilling golden light across the kitchen table where Sarah poured a bowl of cereal for Lily. The air was filled with excitement as the promise of a park visit hung between them like a balloon waiting to be released. Lily buzzed with energy, her usual sparkle returning as she bounced in her chair, the previous day's tears forgotten. "Are we going to have fun today?" Lily asked, her eyes shining with anticipation. "Absolutely, sweetheart," Sarah replied, smiling as she added slices of banana to Lily's bowl. "Just you wait. We'll swing high and find the biggest slide." As the morning unfolded, Sarah felt the weight of her worries slowly lift. She got Lily dressed in her favorite summer dress, a swirl of bright colors that matched her daughter's cheerful spirit. The easy laughter shared while tying her tiny shoelaces warmed Sarah's heart. Maybe today would be different. Maybe it would mark a turning point. Once they arrived at the park, the familiar sight of children laughing and the scent of fresh-cut grass enveloped them. The swings beckoned, and Lily dashed toward them, her laughter mingling with the chorus of chirping birds. Sarah settled onto a nearby bench, her thoughts drifting between the giggles of her daughter and the conversation she would eventually have with Mark. The hour melted away effortlessly as Sarah pushed Lily on the swing, matching her daughter's joyful squeals with bright smiles of her own. Every moment felt light, dispelling the darkness of the uncertainty that had clung to her for far too long. With each push, she could almost hear the whispers of hope urging her to embrace what was to come. Just as she felt anchored in this perfect moment, her phone buzzed in her pocket, snapping her out of her reverie. She glanced at the screen, her heart skipping. It was Mark. "Wish I could join you at the park. Hope you're having fun." A small flutter of excitement surged within Sarah. She let out a breath, the mix of nerves and eagerness washing over her. Should she invite him? This sudden urge felt daring but exhilarating at the same time, an act that blurred the lines she had drawn around her heart. Thank you. We're having a blast. You should come sometime. Sarah typed back, surprising herself with her boldness. As soon as she sent the message, she almost regretted it. What if he didn't want to come? What if she had misread the situation entirely? Lily dashed off from the swings, running toward the small climbing wall. Mommy, watch me. The thrill in her voice cut through Sarah's swirling anxieties. Go for it. Sarah cheered, pride swelling within her as she snapped a quick picture of her daughter in mid-climb, her tiny hands gripping the colorful holds. She shared the moment with Mark, sending him the photo without thinking too much about it. As they enjoyed the day, small interactions with other parents and the carefree atmosphere began to lighten something inside her, a heart that had felt heavy not so long ago. Yet, beneath her growing optimism, a sliver of fear remained buried deep. Could she really embrace not only this day but what it could mean for her future? At that moment, the phone buzzed again. A familiar name flashed on the screen, but Sarah's heart raced as she debated opening it. Was this the moment she had been waiting for? What if it brought more questions than answers? With Lily's laughter ringing like music in her ears, she took a deep breath, contemplating not just the message but the choices ahead. Would she let fear rule the day, or would she take a leap into the unknown? As Mark's name lingered in her mind, Sarah felt the unmistakable stirrings of hope and apprehension entwined. What awaited her in this unfolding chapter of her life? And if she chose to open that message, would it be the nudge she needed to step bravely into the new season of her heart? With a shaky breath, Sarah glanced at the screen again. The message glowed like a beacon, tempting her, pulling her in. She felt torn, adrenaline coursing through her veins. What had Mark said? Curiosity danced with fear. Hey, it's Mark. Would love to join you guys sometime, maybe this weekend. A rush of warmth flooded through her. The invitation felt promising, like a gentle push towards openness. Sarah looked over at Lily, who was enthusiastically climbing up the wall again, wobbly but determined. Part of her wanted to leap into the same brave spirit her daughter embodied. Maybe she could be bold too. Let's make it Saturday. She typed quickly, her fingers moving faster than her thoughts could catch. Just as she hit send, another buzz interrupted her. A reply from Mark came through almost immediately. Great. I can't wait to see you both. Got some ideas for fun things we could do. Excitement bubbled in Sarah's chest. For the first time in ages, hope blossomed. A blend of apprehension and thrill washed over her. What did this mean for them? Did he really want to explore something more? Lily's voice broke her reverie again. Mommy. I'm at the top. Look. Sarah snapped back to reality, lifting her head to see her daughter's triumphant grin shining from above. In that moment, Sarah felt a powerful rush of love. It was the kind of joy that felt like the sun warming her skin after a long winter. That's amazing, sweetheart. You're so brave. She called out, her voice infused with encouragement. Lily waved her little arms, a burst of pure delight, and Sarah realized that courage was infectious. A nervous giggle escaped her lips as she contemplated the date with Mark. Would she be able to remain confident? What if the potential connection faltered? What if this was just all in her head? 1,000 what-ifs swirled around like autumn leaves caught in the wind. The afternoon wore on, with Lily's laughter weaving a beautiful tapestry of memories. They took turns on the slide, played tag, and even worked on building a sandcastle. Each moment filled her with a growing sense of normalcy, even joy. She found herself smiling a bit more, her heart thawing in the sun, yet, the unanswered questions loomed. What if Mark didn't feel the same as she did? What if this was all a fleeting spark before the storm? At last, they settled in the shade for a snack. Lily munched on crackers, her little legs swinging. Sarah watched her, reminding herself that no matter what uncertainties she faced, she was doing this for Lily too. She wanted her daughter to see love, friendship, and new beginnings. But her heart still beat unevenly with fear. Seeing her daughter's blissful expression, Sarah decided to focus on the positives. You know what, Bunny? We're going to have an adventure. Lily's eyes sparkled. Yay! Are we going to fly? Sarah chuckled, then thought again about the adventure awaiting her. Maybe a blind date could lead to incredible things, new friendships, new beginnings. After all, what was life if not a string of beautiful uncertainties? Suddenly, her phone buzzed again, interrupting her thoughts. Would it be Mark? Or something else entirely? Sarah glanced at the screen, heart pounding as she read the message. What was in store for her now? A new challenge, a spark of excitement, or perhaps an unexpected twist? The afternoon light dimmed, casting long shadows as the sun dipped lower in the sky. Sarah's heart raced, wondering what answers lay just beyond the horizon, waiting for her to take the next step. Would she leap, or would she hold back once more? The screen flickered to life once more, illuminating Sarah's curious eyes. But as she read the message, her heart sank. It was an unexpected alert from her work. Urgent, please call for updates on patient cases. The thrill of the day evaporated like mist under the morning sun. She had completely forgotten about her responsibilities, about the demands of her job as a nurse. For a fleeting moment, a wave of disappointment washed over her. What if Mark's invitation was overshadowed by her work commitments? She took a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heart. A part of her wanted to drop everything, to ignore the call and focus on the magic of Saturday. But the other part, a fiercely devoted worker, reminded her of the patients waiting for her care. Mommy, are you okay? Lily's innocent voice cut through her thoughts. Sarah forced a smile, brushing away the heaviness for Lily's sake. I'm good, sweetheart. Just some work stuff, she replied, ruffling her daughter's hair. But inside, the conflict stormed. Can I try the wall again? Lily asked, bright-eyed, pulling at her mother's sleeve. Of course. Go for it. Sarah encouraged, anxiety momentarily forgotten as she watched her daughter scale the wall with zeal. As Lily clambered up, a sense of renewed determination sparked within Sarah. She could balance both her responsibilities and her personal life. She had to believe that she was capable. And that thought transformed her perspective. Maybe she'd find a way to have her adventure while still caring for those who counted on her. With the shape of Saturday's meeting with Mark looming over her, Sarah's mind shifted gears. She pulled out her phone to type a response to the work message. As she tapped in her number, she felt a calming resolve. Just a quick call, she decided, then back to my fun. The reply came quickly, and as she spoke, part of her felt lighter. It wasn't just a work call, it was a reminder of who she was: a caregiver, a protector, a fighter. She could engage in this dance of love and responsibility all at once. After hanging up, Sarah glanced back to Lily, now triumphantly perched at the wall's summit, her eyes full of glee. Sarah couldn't help but burst into applause. You did it again. Look how high you are. The sweet laughter of Lily echoed in her ears as joy bubbled back to the surface. In that moment, the weight lifted, and the shadows of doubt shrank. Can you come up here with me? Lily called down, her voice ringing with youthful determination. Okay, on my way. Sarah laughed, throwing herself into the adventure. She climbed next to her daughter, heart racing not just from the climb, but from the thrill of embracing both work and her blossoming future. As they settled at the top, giggling together, she felt a shift. She could be a mother, a professional, and perhaps, in time, something more with Mark. But the doubts whispered again. What if she failed? What if she faltered and couldn't handle either role? The afternoon melted into evening, their laughter lingering like the colors of sunset up in the sky. They were both so high, lost in the joy of the moment. But the looming question of Saturday sat heavy in her mind, a knot that hadn't quite untangled. The phone buzzed again, breaking through the golden warmth surrounding them. Sarah hesitated, breathless. Was it Mark? Or more work? As Lily's laughter faded, Sarah took a slow breath, staring at the screen with a potent mix of hope and fear. One decision could change everything. Would it mark a new beginning, or unravel the thread she worked so hard to weave together? With a flutter in her stomach, she felt the urge to delve deeper into the unknown, the moment of truth ready to reveal itself. What would the next message bring? The bright screen illuminated Sarah's face, a small beacon in the growing twilight. She took another deep breath and finally swiped to see the message. Her heart raced. It was from Mark, a simple text that made her world tilt slightly. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Do you want to grab dinner first? A rush of warmth surged through her. Dinner? It felt like a promise of something more, but also like a new layer of complexity piled on top of her already crowded life. She felt a mixture of excitement and dread swirl within her. Was she ready for this? Could she manage both the event and the responsibilities that awaited her? Lily, still buoyed by her triumph on the wall, broke through Sarah's spiral of thought. Mommy, can we eat ice cream now? Sarah turned to Lily, smiled, and her heart softened at her daughter's eagerness. Sure. Ice cream sounds perfect. As they headed toward the kitchen, Sarah's phone buzzed again. The excitement within her fizzled out like a bubble, replaced by an almost instinctual worry that it was work calling again. She snatched up the phone, glancing at the screen. This time it was a group chat with her colleagues. Just another flurry of updates and reminders about patient care for the next shift. Mommy. Lily's voice pulled Sarah back. Let us do sprinkles. Absolutely. Sprinkles it is. Sarah replied, shaking off her uncertainty. They began scooping together, the simple act turning into a sweet bonding moment. And while she carefully worked, Sarah thought about how Mark had made her feel lately seen, appreciated, and maybe even valued beyond her role as a nurse. But her mind drifted again to a pit of questions. Was it fair to jump into something new when she carried the weight of both a mother and a nurse? The fear of failing both roles loomed ever larger. She felt the sweetness of the ice cream cool against her fingers, but the swirl of anxiety in her chest simmered just beneath the surface. Lily grinned up at her, sprinkle-coated cheeks bright with innocence. This is the best ice cream ever. Seeing her daughter's happiness sparked a tiny flicker of hope. Could it really be possible to balance joy and responsibility? Wasn't that what she had always wanted for both of them? As they took their first bites, the rich flavors filled her senses, distracting her from the questions that had tangled her thoughts. She looked at Lily, whose laughter was unrestrained and pure. This was the beauty in their chaos, a reminder of why she pushed through the challenges of her daily life. Soon after, the phone buzzed again, a sharp jab into her contentment. Her breath caught, the equilibrium toppled. She glanced down, and her heart fluttered when she recognized Mark's name once more. Hey, am I keeping you? Just wanted to confirm our plans tomorrow. Sarah's heart raced as she typed. It felt monumental, both exhilarating and terrifying. Would it matter how it went? Before she could second-guess her fingers, she hit send. No, just enjoying some time with Lily. I can't wait for tomorrow. Dinner sounds perfect. A moment passed before his reply illuminated her screen. Great. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to see you both. A smile broke through as she set the phone down. The evening felt lighter somehow, the weight of her worries lifting just a fraction. But in the back of her mind, something nagged. What if this all crashed down? What if the excitement vanished as swiftly as it came? Mommy. Lily's excited voice broke through again, moving closer with a sticky hand reaching for more sprinkles. Coming, darling. Sarah's heart pulled at the sight of her daughter's joy, reminding her of their bond that seemed unbreakable amidst uncertainty. As they returned to their ice cream adventure, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of future promises and challenges looming ahead. She was beginning to realize that tomorrow would not only involve dinner with Mark, but also a crossroads where she would need to choose not just who she wanted to be for others, but who she wanted to be for herself. What if the next day brought changes she couldn't anticipate? The next day dawned clear and bright, with the warm sunlight spilling into Sarah's bedroom like a gentle reminder of hope. She stirred awake, her mind replaying the message from Mark like a favorite song stuck on repeat. Tonight would be different. After a hurried breakfast filled with Lily's animated chatter about colors and unicorns, reality struck. The clock was ticking down on her responsibilities and the time she had to prepare for her dinner with Mark. There was laundry that needed folding and a last-minute patient report to finish before her shift started. "Mommy, can I help?" Lily offered, her eyes wide with the eagerness to pitch in. Sarah smiled at her daughter, gauging her own energy against the overwhelming to-do list. "Let us clean up and then you can pick out a special outfit for tonight." As they moved through the house, Sarah felt the familiar mix of excitement and anxiety settling in her stomach. The emotional push and pull was exhausting. She loved her daughter fiercely and yet sometimes yearned for something more, something outside the four walls of their busy life. Could she really embrace a new connection while keeping everything else afloat? Lily dove into her clothes, flinging colorful items across the room. "I want to wear my princess dress," she squealed, holding out a sparkly outfit that shimmered under the sunlight. "Perfect choice," Sarah encouraged, laughing as the carefree joy from her daughter washed over her. Watching Lily twirl in that outfit made Sarah's heart swell. At work that day, Sarah found herself distracted. Focusing on her patients became a challenge as her mind wandered to thoughts of Mark. His smile, the warmth in his voice, and the sincerity behind his messages filled her thoughts. She couldn't deny how he made her feel like she was not just a nurse but a woman with hopes, dreams, and a future that could be more than just existing day by day. "Sarah." A gentle nudge from her colleague pulled her back. "You with us?" "Yeah, just thinking," she admitted, offering a small smile. Her colleague studied her for a moment before nodding. "Everything okay? You seem a bit distracted today." "Oh, you know how it is, just a lot on my mind," Sarah replied, hoping the half-truth would be enough to deflect any further questions. As the shift went on, Sarah couldn't shake the buzz of anticipation mixed with fear. The excitement of the dinner felt like a roller coaster waiting to launch. After work, she rushed home, ready to shed the day's worries. Lily's laughter filled the air as she twirled around wearing the dress that made her feel special. "Look, Mommy. I'm a real princess." "Absolutely," Sarah exclaimed, her heart bursting with pride. "And every princess needs a crown." With a quick search, Sarah found one of Lily's favorite headbands adorned with shiny jewels. As it perched atop her daughter's head, she chuckled at how radiant Lily looked. They shared a moment, both sparkling in their own ways, Lily with her innocence and Sarah with her burgeoning hope. With one last sweep, Sarah glanced in the mirror. She wore a soft blue dress that hugged her gently, her hair falling in waves. A hint of mascara highlighted her eyes, illuminating the blend of nervousness and excitement swirling inside her. Sarah barely recognized the woman staring back at her. "Mommy, you look beautiful," Lily cheered, her voice echoing with the purity of childhood delight. "Thank you, sweetheart. You make me feel beautiful every day," Sarah responded, pulling her daughter close for a hug. But doubts crept in as they prepared to leave. Was she really ready for this dinner? Mark had seen her in scrubs, practical and hard-working, but would he appreciate her fully? Suddenly, her phone chimed, breaking the moment. "Hey, just checking in. Looking forward to dinner." Each word dived into her chest, stirring a mix of hope and fear. Was she truly ready for this? As she replied, Lily bounced around, excitement radiating from her tiny frame. "Can I come with you?" she shouted, eyes sparkling with curiosity at her mother's plans. "Well, sweetheart," Sarah hesitated, gnawing on her lower lip as she considered the implications. Maybe tonight would change everything, but was she ready to let love in? "Okay, let us go," Sarah finally declared, taking a deep breath as she stepped into the unknown with Lily by her side. Little did she know, the choices she made tonight would ripple into her very future, unearthing long-buried fears and unexpected desires. As they headed out, part of Sarah couldn't help but wonder what might be waiting for her beyond the door. The restaurant glowed softly against the dusky sky, its lights twinkling like fairy dust in the twilight. Sarah's heart thumped in her chest as they approached, the nagging uncertainty swirling inside her like a restless wind. She took a moment to steady herself, glancing down at Lily, who was practically bouncing on her toes. "Are you ready, Mommy?" Lily asked, her face alight with excitement. Sarah knelt down to meet her daughter's gaze, wanting to show as much confidence as she could muster. "I am. But remember, we're here to have fun, okay? No pressure." Lily nodded fervently, her little crown tilting slightly. They stepped inside, the delicious aroma of herbs and spices enveloping them instantly. A warm ambience filled the space as laughter mingled with clinking glasses. Sarah couldn't help but feel a sense of belonging amidst the laughter and cheer, as if she was entering into a world she had almost forgotten. "Wow!" Lily gasped, eyeing the colorful array of decorations. "Yeah, it's beautiful," Sarah agreed, although her mind was still spinning with thoughts of Mark. Would he truly show? What if he saw her as just a nurse, not the woman she hoped to be again? Before she could spiral further, the hostess led them to a cozy corner booth. Heart fluttering, Sarah glanced out to see Mark already seated there, looking handsome and relaxed in a navy button-down that emphasized his confident posture. When he spotted them, his face lit up like he had just seen Christmas lights for the first time. "Hey there!" Mark greeted cheerfully, standing to greet them. "Hi," Sarah managed, her voice an octave higher than normal. "And you must be Lily." Mark crouched down, extending his hand playfully. "What a lovely princess I see." Lily giggled, her cheeks flushing with pride. "Thank you. I'm the most special princess tonight." "Absolutely," Mark replied, his laughter light and infectious. The ease with which he interacted with Lily relaxed Sarah just a touch. As they all settled in, she felt something shift. Maybe this wouldn't be so hard after all. They ordered dinner, and for a while, the conversation flowed effortlessly. Mark was genuinely interested in their lives, asking Lily about her school and her favorite colors, and making Sarah laugh with his stories about work. But as the delicious food filled their plates, Sarah couldn't shake off her lingering worries. What if he was really only looking for someone to enjoy a night out with? Could there be anything deeper? "Any plans for the weekend?" Mark asked, taking a sip from his glass, a casual smile playing on his lips. "Just the usual," Sarah replied, forcing herself to sound more relaxed. "Lily and I might hit the park or go on an adventure in the kitchen." Mark's gaze turned thoughtful. "Sounds fun. I'd love to join you too someday, if you're up for it." The words hung in the air, and for a moment, all Sarah could hear was the pounding of her heart. Could she really consider expanding their little world? A knot curled in her stomach at the thought of what it would mean. "Maybe," Sarah said carefully, testing the waters of this new idea. Just then, Lily interrupted, looking at Mark with wholesome curiosity. "Do you like spaghetti?" "Lily," Sarah said, a bit embarrassed, but Mark chuckled, looking amused. "I do. Especially when I have someone special to share it with." His gaze met Sarah's, and for a breath, all her worries faded. But the fleeting moment shattered as a voice called from across the room, a familiar sound that made her blood run cold. "Mark?" Sarah turned to see a striking woman in a sleek dress, striding over with confidence. The entire world seemed to still momentarily, her breath catching in her throat as the reality washed over her. "Oh no," she whispered, feeling panic welling within her. Lily was blissfully unaware, but Sarah's mind raced with questions. Who was this woman? What did she want? Mark's expression shifted slightly, and Sarah dared to meet his gaze for reassurance. But instead, it was filled with uncertainty. The air grew thick, and an anxious silence surrounded their table. As the woman approached and their eyes locked, Sarah realized this moment could alter everything she hoped for. What would happen next? Would this ruin the lovely evening she had envisioned? Mark's eyes widened as the woman approached, a mixture of surprise and discomfort flickering across his face. Sarah felt the air thicken, her heart pounding in her chest. This was the last thing she needed, a shadow from his past descending right when she was trying to build something bright and new. Mark. The woman called out, her voice smooth as silk, yet there was an underlying tension. I didn't expect to see you here. She brushed a hand through her hair, the soft waves cascading like a waterfall. Sarah felt a knot tightening in her stomach. They knew each other. Hey Alana, Mark replied, his tone a bit too casual. This is Sarah and her daughter, Lily. The way he introduced them felt like a shield, but Sarah could sense the tension thickening. Alana's gaze landed on them, her smile a mere mask. What a lovely little princess you have. Alana directed her words toward Lily, who smiled brightly, unaware of the churning undercurrents. So, what is going on here? Alana asked, her tone dripping with sweetness edged with curiosity. It's just dinner, Mark replied, his muscles tightening. We thought it'd be fun to get together. His vague response sparked another wave of confusion in Sarah. Was he trying to protect her? Deflect Alana's probing? Alana nodded, but the glint in her eyes didn't waver. Oh, that sounds sweet. It's been a while since I've seen you around. The unspoken implications hung in the air. A chill crept into Sarah's bones. Did this woman want to reclaim her place? She felt a surge of protectiveness toward Lily and herself. Yeah, well, things change, Mark replied, a hint of tension entering his voice. Sarah wanted to reach across the table, to pull him back into the safety of their burgeoning connection. But the weight of Alana's presence loomed like a dark cloud, heavy and unyielding. Seems you've been busy. Alana remarked, her eyes glancing pointedly between them, assessing the unspoken bond forming. New beginnings can be tricky, though, right? The heat from Mark's glare seemed to deflect Alana's probing. I'm happy with my choices, he stated firmly, addressing her challenge head-on. Sarah's heart fluttered. Mark's assertiveness gave her a sense of safety. But doubt crept back in as Sarah looked at Lily, whose innocent face awaited enchantment yet was trapped in this moment of awkward tension. Mommy, can I go play? She asked quietly, sensing the shift. Sarah nodded, wanting to give her child the chance to escape. Lily's little legs found the nearby play area, a safe zone filled with laughter. As soon as Lily dashed away, Sarah felt a breath of relief. But the smile faltered as she turned back to face Mark and Alana. Is everything okay? She asked, glancing at Mark, whose features now bore both determination and uncertainty. She needed clarity, needed to know what this meant for them. Of course, Mark replied, his voice steady but his eyes flickering with a hint of concern. Alana and I know each other from a long time ago. That's all. Alana cut in, yeah, the past always has a funny way of showing itself, right? Sarah caught the hint of menace, her heart sinking at the suggestion that the past might overshadow their future. Look, I'm here with Sarah and Lily. Can you please not make this more difficult? Mark's tone was sharper now, leaving no doubt about his intention. Alana's expression shifted, something unreadable crossing her face before she leaned back slightly, surrendering but not without a final quip. Just remember, sometimes, the past is closer than you think. With that, she turned, strutting away into the crowd, the tension trailing like smoke in the air. Sarah's heart raced. It was difficult to breathe as the weight of uncertainty settled back over their table. I'm sorry about that, Mark said, his brow furrowed in concern. I didn't expect to see her here. Do you still have feelings for her? The question blurted out before she could stop it. It was raw, fueled by insecurity. Mark's gaze never wavered. No. We had our time, but it's in the past. I'm here with you and Lily. I want to see where this could go. There was a tender sincerity in his voice that filled Sarah with warmth. Time seemed to pause as their eyes locked. She felt a shift within her, the clouds parting momentarily to let in a sliver of light. Maybe love wasn't something she had to tiptoe around. Maybe it was a force that could withstand the shadows of old relationships if she allowed it to blossom, to thrive. We can face the past together, you know, she said softly, her heart lifting. He offered her a smile that melted the weight off their earlier exchanges. That's the hope. As they began to talk again, Sarah noticed Lily returning to their table, a radiant smile on her face, holding a cookie in one hand and a crayon drawing in the other. The laughter of children mixed with the warmth of connection, a spark igniting hope for what lay ahead. Lily slipped into the booth beside her, looking back and forth between them. Are we having fun? She asked, her voice ringing pure and bright. This is the best adventure. Mark replied, giving Lily a high five that filled Sarah with joy. It was a moment of pure innocence and beauty, a reminder that love could grow in unexpected places, even amidst challenges. All doubts faded as Lila's giggles filled the air, marking a new beginning. Sarah glanced at Mark and felt a wave of determination wash over her. The blend of their lives, her past, his past, could intertwine beautifully in their present. In that moment, everything felt possible. Together, they could brave the storms and dance in the sunlight. Love was not just a dream, it was a choice they would make every single day, starting now. When the evening wound down, and they stepped outside into the cool night air, Sarah linked her arm with Mark's, holding on tightly. It was a small gesture, but it echoed a promise. They could face the unknown together, crafting a future that shimmered with promise. Ready for this adventure? Mark asked, a glimmer of laughter dancing in his eyes. Absolutely, Sarah replied, her heart swelling. Here's to new beginnings. As they walked down the street, Sarah felt lighter as she embraced all the possibilities before her, starting a chapter graced with hope, love, and above all, a family emerging from unexpected bonds. And at the very core, she understood one truth: sometimes, love can transcend shadows, forging a path toward light. Now, if you love this heartwarming journey of transformation, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel. Don't miss out on exclusive stories that are waiting to inspire you. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm. Your support matters. And comment your thoughts and feelings about this emotional conclusion. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to help spread the love. Only true fans understand how vital it is to support the channel through these actions.